What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a very special PlayStation Drive X Console Creature Cast crossover event. We're back for another team up of the September 14th.
Team up, dream up?
Of all the team ups,
Team up, dream up, man.
14th,
it's like right there. Just take it.
September 14th crossovers. This is the one that'll go down in the history of September 14th. My name's Matt. I'll be your host for the shows today. I'm joined, as always, by the Supreme Court of Canada himself. Wow, my brain literally just was floating for a second. Mr. Court Lalonde, what's up, Court?
Hey, buddy. It's like my brain is like switching over to your body, and like you've got the tired brain that I had earlier today.
Tire brain?
Tired
brain. Welcome to the Tire Brain podcast.
Can I interject quickly? All three of you have mood lighting. If you're looking at the screen right now, it's like a mellow blue.
Yeah.
Mellow blue.
I always have the mood lighting.
And then you have me.
You got a blue wall.
Out.
I had a blue
know,
wall.
But this is my childhood bedroom. I'm still here until I move into my house. So I stick out like a sore thumb. So like you three look incredible. And I have
Say hi to your mom for me.
She's in Greece, so I can't. Sorry, she's probably sleeping right now. Sorry, I'm an orphan right now. My parents left me.
That was the perfect retort. And well, Court and I are here. Obviously, we were joined by the console creature himself. What's up, Bobby?
He's the tech with the specs. He actually has a nickname.
I said Bobby.
Oh
no, Steve is also one of them. I mean, you gotta be a little bit more specific.
Well, Bobby is the creature.
Now there's a bunch of us. Like there's literally like I don't know, like a little anthill of them.
Anthill?
It's a mountain. We're not in a mountain yet. We're in an anthill. We're gonna build a mountain.
We're an anthill that's masking masking around as a mountain.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And of course, legendary detective himself, Mr. Steve Monday.
Steve Monday on the case, ladies and gentlemen.
Bobby's like, by the way, I'm good.
I am good. Just because like there was an announcement today that just like made me want to like.
Yeah, you Final Fantasy guys are just like, oof. You had a day today.
Hold on. Wait, Bobby, what announcement? Because there's been so many today, and I think I know which one you're talking about, and I don't know if Court's right, but hit us with it anyway.
You mean that we got a release date for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Dude, you put out like 15. I've never seen Bobby tweet so much in my life.
Yeah, that's like, what it does to me.
Screenshot. And he was putting all these in. I know they were like inside jokes about Final Fantasy or like things because I had no clue what he was talking about half the time. Just like,
well,
he
when
made
you're
some
on
comment
culture,
about the guy on the little scooter thingy, and like I don't know what he's doing. Whatever.
Cloud's riding a Segway. That's never happened before. Like that is like the best thing that could have happened in that whole trailer.
100%. Did you see that meme, Bobby, of Cloud on a normal Segway and Sephiroth on a very tall Segway?
Yeah,
made me laugh.
Hey, Bobby, I had a moment today during that part. I said to Matt, "Isn't that the guy from Kingdom Hearts?" And Matt was like, "Actually, yeah." I can't. Yeah, that's all I knew.
Actually, is Lance Bass.
Well, I'm disappointed you didn't call out his famous appearance in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Court.
I don't play Smash Bros. At all.
Well, you don't play anything fun though. That's the thing. You play like
incorrect. I'm right now currently playing
let's hear how fun it is.
I love it.
That's one game. That's good.
I play NHL. It's a great game. I like the Division 2 fun game. I like Mario Wonders. I'm very excited about that. I like Mario games. Smash Bros is just not my thing. It's not my thing, man. It's just it is what it is.
That's very sus to me. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me.
Wow, Bobby is using slang. That's sus.
Well,
just using sus.
You lack the Riz to play the Smash.
No, I don't like fighting games. Period. They're just.
It's not a fighting game. It's not a fighting game.
It is though.
It isn't though. It's a brawler.
Brawlers are different than fighting.
That made such a difference. It's right up there with Final Fantasy of the things I don't care about.
Like you guys just almost ended Steve. He almost literally just
you almost experienced
everywhere.
I don't even know what that word is. Someone was talking about in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was like the first movie.
Riz.
The crackers.
Ritz crackers, I get that, but I don't
know.
Yeah,
you got the Ritz.
That's all you need to.
You got the Ritz. You don't got the Riz. You have the.
I don't even.
Yo, Court's got the Ritz.
Oh, I sometimes you got the shit, but that's about it.
On this week's crossover episode, we're gonna keep it rolling, folks. On this week's crossover episode, we're gonna be here talking about the state of play. We're gonna be talking about Spider-Man 2. We have a whole bunch of things to talk about. As is always, we're missing Dave on this special crossover. We've had him last time, but it's okay. We'll get him back next time. I miss you, Dave.
Ready.
He's
But
a
if-
trader. I'm calling him out right now.
Clean this dusty
Just
old
so happened to be away on the busiest day of the week. Sorry, guys. I'm calling him out. on
Yeah.
this BS. But
well, I mean, like, well, think about it. When we were going to Fan Expo, he was mysteriously sick, and then he ended up showing up. And then today, on the busiest day, he's mysteriously gone.
He mysteriously got a ride home.
Mysteriously.
Well,
Mysteriously.
hitchhiked
And then
with some
mysteriously
stranger.
forgot that he left his car at the train station, so I had to drive him to the train station, not to his house. It was funny. But yeah, but
It's
I was
okay.
so when we
It's
got
okay.
I was driving towards his house. He's like, "Oh yeah, my car's at the train station actually." So then we had to go to the train station and take him to his car.
And the
That's
funny thing
incredible.
was, I was on the phone this entire time. I was pretty much on the phone with them the entire ride.
Oh yeah,
home.
he was. Matt was talking to us the whole way home
Oh,
Well,
that's
like
awesome.
OnStar?
because Matt was driving home. So then we talked to Matt the whole way home.
OnStar.
That's
He was
sweet.
like OnStar for you guys. That's beautiful.
It
Yeah,
sounds like a
right?
much better night with a much better turnout than staying out until 2 a.m. shutting down a
So
bar.
I have a photo of Steve that I have capsulated that I zoomed in
Thank you.
only on his face, and I will
Thank
keep
you.
that on my phone. So Steve, actually, because you don't have an icon of your face like for your iPhone,
It's your
just to let
there
you
we
know,
go.
as someone that has the new update, and it's now no longer a beta, by the way, it just switched over on my phone. If you're in the beta program, it switched over to the new iOS. But anyways, because I tried to get it off. But you now, when you call
you
me,
did.
it is your face on that box,
Yes,
looking
I love
disheveled.
that. I love that. I love that for me
okay.
and you.
For everyone involved. Steve just has enough power to like power the entire downtown core of Toronto now. That's all.
It's all
But
on my shoulders.
I'm 100%
And a
glad
new
that I was
shower.
like, I think I'm gonna go home. And Riley looked at me and was like, I don't think you should. I'm like, that means I definitely should.
Yep.
You don't trust Riley with anything he says. That's rule
Well,
number
Steve's
one.
like, you can crash on my couch. I'm like, there is way too many red flags here. I have to get up early.
Yeah, you would not have gotten up early whatsoever.
No, man.
No.
It would have been
Yeah,
bad.
but
I
also
would've got
Riley
yelled
would
at.
have probably made you drink more because that's just what he does.
That's
That's
just
just
good old
Riley.
times.
Are we here
It's
for a
fine.
state of play?
We're here for a state of play. We are
Okay.
here for a state of play. We were here for a bunch, but of course, you know, this is like standard procedure for the PlayStation Drive X console X Creature Cast because we argue about pies, we talk about stuff. This is.
I had blueberry pie
Perfect
for
work.
dessert today for dinner. It
I'm
was pretty
very
good.
proud of you.
It was good.
That sounds.
Steve looked like he was like, I'm
devastating.
in for that. It was good.
Yeah.
That
It was a
sounds
mini
devastating.
blueberry pie. They
tried
got them
to
at
steer us back on?
Loblaws. They're like little
Yes,
tiny
I
ones.
know exactly the ones you're talking about.
They're so
It was so good. Yep.
So
So good.
I
Pop 'em in
had
the microwave for like
whoa,
20
guys.
seconds. Oh,
So good.
Ooh,
I had a coconut cream bun from Nations today, and it was
Ooh,
on
that sounds
point.
that
fantastic.
slaps. That sounds.
they are like
That
the
sounds
best treat you could buy for $1.99. So yeah,
That sounds real good. But
that
without further ado, let's get into this. Let's get into this. Some of the logistical stuff that we got to clear out here, because of course, on the PlayStation Drive side, we got to clean this dusty old garage of ours. If you're watching us right now on YouTube.com/carpoolgaming, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell so you're notified when everything happens. Head to Patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Toss in bucks into the tip jar. Out comes a cornucopia of content for you to consume. And of course, if you're listening on your podcast service of choice, head to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever. Hit us with that review. Leave us that 5 stars. We appreciate you all very, very much. Now, I'm going to toss it over to Steve to plug CreatureCast. Woo!
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that toss up. I grabbed it right here. Yeah, so right now is the time that everyone's listening to this. We also put up a in-depth Spider-Man preview on the Creature Cast. I also have an interview with senior art director Jacinda Chu on the episode as well. But what I did was, for all you people who don't like to listen to stuff all that much, you don't like sitting there with ear pods in your ear, I transcribed the interview for the website, so you can find it there as well. It's a great conversation I had with her. I highly encourage people to check it out. We talked about Easter eggs. We talked about the suits. We talked about, just everything to do with like the art direction for Marvel Spider-Man 2. And then also, yeah, if you want to check out consolecreatures.com, there's a whole bunch of in-depth coverage from this state of play. The writing team over there, including Bobby and everyone, just chipped in, did the what court? What?
It's like Matt wrote the article. You're like Bobby and like the people. And...
I honestly didn't see. I
I
have
have
been
today.
Matt, yeah, Matt, I'll give you your flowers. I'm sorry. I'll be
He's in
honest.
LA
I did not
Times,
even.
guys.
He's on LA Times.
Yeah.
I've
He's so
been,
cool, man.
I've been doing
He's up
the
in LA.
Spider.
Are you
He's
been
been
on?
he's been schmoozing and boozing with Insomniac Games and PlayStation. So yeah, let's just call it what it is. He's a booze hound right now.
Still drunk.
Matt,
drunk.
you did a really great job. I'm only guessing that. I haven't seen it, but I'm guessing you've done a really great job today. So I want to give you
Thanks,
a pat
man.
on the
Thanks.
back, some flowers, and
Pivot was
the
like it was like
entire team
you
just
were like
really
drifting.
crushed it on the website.
drifting.
So you guys should all go check out consolecreatures.com. I'm deflecting everything that Court said there. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I got to plug right now.
Heck yeah! Without further ado, folks, we had a big day in video game land today. There was a state of play. There was a Nintendo Direct. We're going to talk about the state of play here and then a little bit more about Spider-Man. But without further ado, I'm going to pull up this handy dandy Console Creatures wonderful article coming from our little spot where, of course, Court and I are now running. We're all part of the family. I'm gonna shout out the homie though. I want to shout out Patrick, who put this article together for the site. But of course, we're gonna go through here. We're gonna talk about some of the announcements. Before we get into the nitty gritty of all of the of some of the announcements here, I want to just go around the horn and give our initial thoughts and impressions. Court, how was the state of play today?
Surprisingly good. Not every game was for me, but I felt coming out of it, even in the comments when we were doing it live, people seemed to be more engaged for this than they were for the showcase, which is crazy to me. But I felt there was something for everybody in here. The Spider-Man 2 trailer, I think the hype it's there with the game being so close. When we got more Spider-Man 2, and they showed some really cool things, and we'll talk more into it. And I really just thought it was decent. It just hit games. They did show those new plates that actually looked good. It didn't feel, nothing felt disjointed. I felt with the showcase for some reason, some of those videos were pigeonholed and it looked a little disjointed. This felt like it had a very good rhythm and it was a decent state of play.
Steve, what do you think?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed by any means. It was kind of one of those where I walked away fully knowing that there was something at least there for someone. It was a well-diverse kind of catalog of announcements, updates, and stuff like that. I do think that opening up with baby steps was one of the weirdest decisions I think PlayStation has ever made. Not only was it a weird game to kind of set the nuance and kind of set the tone for this state of play, but it just went on way too long. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. It's playing on the screen right now, but yeah, it was just a very strange thing because, like, for me, there was that moment where it kept going on. I was like, oh, people must know who this character is, must know what this series is if it's going on this long, because that's how almost they're treating it. But yeah, it was a weird one. I love that we got some updates for PSVR 2. I think that was sorely needed this year. I think we need more to kind of look forward to. So I'm glad we got that. Obviously, the Spider-Man stuff, great to see one kind of last hurrah, especially being narrated by creative director Brian Intihar. That was awesome. And then yeah, for Bobby and all the nerds out there, ending with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was honestly really great. I love that trailer. I thought it popped off. It's wild to me that this game is 2 discs in an age where we're printing discs on their Blu-ray discs that hold a ton of data, and yet we're still in a world where you gotta have 2 of them. That just blows my mind. But yeah, it was fine. I thought there were ebbs and flows to it, but I think framing it around a state of play worked to their benefit rather than just being like this long rumored summer showcase that PlayStation kind of had maybe cooking, or at least that was the rumor mill, right?
Well said. Bobby, what do you think about today's state of play?
Solid B+, I think, just because it had a solid outing. I mean, it was way better than the last showcase, which was a nightmare. I think it was just really disappointing to see Sony announce a showcase in May, and it was like nothing. There's literally nothing that really redeemed it. And then September rolls around, and like we know what the next 6-7 months of PlayStation games are going to be like. So it looks like they're on the right track. I mean, it's good to see PlayStation VR 2 get some love again. I mean, they announced Mannequin yesterday. They announced I think Ghostbusters looks all right. I mean, I'm looking forward to playing Ghostbusters. But yeah, all around, I'm impressed. They ended it on a high note. That Final Fantasy 7 trailer is just like, it's like, remember those pixie sticks that you ate as a kid? I felt like I just had like 13 of them watching that trailer. It was just like memories were flooding back from when I was, 10 years old playing that game. You can see Vincent, you can see Kate Sith, and then you see the golden saucer, and then you see all the mini games that were there, and it's like, wow, they're really going all out. Because it seems like a big departure from remake. It's a lot more open world. There's a lot of Easter eggs. Like, I don't know. I'm still taking it in. I think it's one of the best trailers they've put out for that game since it was announced like last year.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I think this was a really, really solid state of play. I think my expectations were lowered when it was announced as a state of play rather than being the showcase, like Steve mentioned, that was long rumored. And then I was really pleasantly surprised. I think they exceeded my expectations from what I expected from them today. I think we got some really great games. I think almost every one of them had me at least curious to check out. And like Bobby mentioned, ending on Final Fantasy was such a huge, great way to do it, especially with the release date and such a lengthy trailer. I really thought that they were going to hold that more for TGS, which is just around the corner. But it was nice to see them kind of come out swinging. And I thought they did a good job today. Do I think it was enough given everything going on with PlayStation Plus pricing and everything else right now? I don't know, but watching it, I had a lot of fun. And like Bobby said, I was like a kid on Christmas Day throughout the Final Fantasy stuff in the back end and throughout Spider-Man. So let's do some run-throughs. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we saw, because like Steve mentioned, we kicked things off with baby steps. A very weird start that won me over by the end. The humor hit for me. The dialogue was stupid and funny, but I'm actually curious enough to check this game out. I really hope that this is one of those ones that goes straight into Extra when it launches, because I think this would be a great game for that kind of service. But I'm in on baby steps. I'm going to open it up to the panel here. Thoughts and feelings, baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps is what Court would be doing if he stayed out with me and Riley.
100%. That is truth, because I watched the guy just fall flat on his face, and that's how it started. I don't know what about this game.
That's
I want to play it.
Steve's couch.
Yeah.
But
This is Court.
Matt, when you brought up PlayStation Plus, once again, I think that I'm looking back at this game and another game that I thought, Helldivers 2, that we'll get to, that I thought for sure would have it. I'm still surprised we're not getting that thing that Xbox does so well in their showcases, or their directs themselves. There is no coming to PlayStation Plus. That we didn't get that game, and I think that has more impact. And this is one of those games where at the very end, I'm very shocked it did not say coming to PlayStation Plus.
This very much reminded me of the PlayStation 5's version of Octodad.
Or QWOP.
Very good point.
Like that's
what it is.
Yeah, right.
But no, I mean, listen, it's still too early. Like, Sony doesn't need to. Okay, so that's a two-part thing. One, Sony doesn't need to announce that it's coming to PlayStation Plus yet, because it's Sony. They can do whatever the hell they want. They're Sony.
Jesus.
Two,
sounds like my wife.
I know, right? Well, that's okay. That's just another stream. We can talk about that one, because anyway, with the price increase, they're gonna start having to say it's coming to PlayStation Plus on this day, because like this big price increase, it blindsided everybody. And I know a lot of people are not gonna renew it at their current tier. They're probably just gonna go for like the basic one where you just get one game a month and your cloud storage. So they're gonna need to start doing it at this point if they want to retain their subscribers, because like Sony, I feel like they shot themselves in the foot last week. This state of play did not redeem them in that sense. Like, I'm still really upset with them. I mean, in Canada, it's what $190 a year for a premium.
Yep.
And after tax, that's $200, which is still, I understand, cheaper than Xbox Game Pass.
Mine needs to be renewed in 2 days.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good until 2027. So I took advantage of the sales, but at this point, it's just like, it's still not enough. Like, I understand, like, next month for any RPG fan, next month next month, September has 5 Star Ocean games, a bunch of pretty decent titles like Nier's coming out. Like, these are really, really solid games for someone like Matt, myself. I don't know how Steve feels about Star Ocean. I don't think he's ever played them. And Court, I know you're just allergic to good games, so that's a different thing. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like they have a lot. They have to use baby steps to get back to where they are.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, I think Bobby's onto something. I think that I'm hoping that this is something that they'll talk about. I agree, Court, that it's not. It would be nice if they got this messaging out sooner. But you know, I'm sure. Like, I mean, I don't think we found out that like Stray was coming day and date until like right before launch. So I mean, they seem to wait with their messaging. Same thing happened with like Moving Out 2. That was just suddenly. By the way, it's coming to Extra right away. So I'm hoping that I would be nice if they talked about it sooner, but it is what it is. Moving on to, hold on, I'm just going to pull this boy back up. Moving on to the next thing we saw, which was the Ghostbusters VR game, which is looking pretty cool. I think this would be a lot of fun to play with some friends. Court, you are a big
I'm
Ghostbusters
100%
fan.
in. Huge Ghostbusters fan. This comes out on my birthday. This will be what I'll probably play for a little bit. I'm very excited about this. I'm all in.
Court, are we going to be busting together on your birthday?
Yeah, honestly, the fact that it comes out, I was
this is a child-friendly show, so you keep your busting to yourselves, guys. That's just,
dude, you don't have to go there. If you don't go there, it doesn't go there. But yeah,
Oh,
this looks like a lot of fun. I know, you know, the PSVR 2, we both feel that it needs to have a little bit more said about it. We really like Walkabout Mini Golf. This looks like one of those games that I can hop in and I can have a lot of fun playing. So I'm excited about this game.
I want to interject something because Jake Steinberg, a friend of both Console Creatures and, you know, PlayStation Drive, he said this as this trailer came out. It says, it's crazy that an IP as creatively bankrupt and as uninteresting as Ghostbusters continues to get one or two extremely mid-looking video game releases every year. And on one front, I agree with him because we're just getting these asymmetrical multiplayer
so much
games.
Unpack there with just lies after lies.
I kind of agree with him on that sense because like
sure you do.
The last couple of games were kind of mid. But if we got like a proper sequel to Ghostbusters, the video game, I think that's the direction it should go. Kind of like a Gears of War sequel kind of thing. Instead of, you know, these multiplayer games where it's just like you gather a couple friends and you bust ghosts. Like, I think having like a story-driven game where it adapts things from the cartoons or allows some freedom where you're not playing as, you know, the iconic 4 Ghostbusters, right? You get new characters, like adapt the Ghostbusters Afterlife, bring in new blood, bring in new characters, and then let people, you know, enjoy Ghostbusters for what it is. Like, it is a great IP. I just think it's stuck in the past.
Steve, you're another PSVR 2 dude. You've been in it since launch. Does this do anything for you? Are you gonna bust with me in Court on his birthday?
If y'all are busting, I'm busting right there next to you, boys. Let's go. Buddy. Let's bust. Let's bust all over each other. What are we doing? Yeah.
Cross streams and everything.
Oh, buddy, I'll cross more than streams with you.
This is
but in all seriousness, are you stoked on this?
Yeah, no, this looks great. I mean, to a certain point, I kind of like going back to Jake's comment. I understand why some like diehard Ghostbusters fans are a little let down. That's always just kind of the same imagery, kind of the same time frame, stuff like that. But I think the added twist of it being in VR kind of allows a little more creativity. Let us play with like the basic tools before they start like expanding into like new and creative ways. Because like at a certain point, especially with VR, it's already so niche. You have to have it feel familiar when you get in, or you can't have it feel so different that immediately you're like, well, I don't really understand any of this, to be honest. Like, I just want to be a Ghostbuster. Like that's what the game is optioning out, right? Like, so I think from a foundation standpoint, it's fine with me that it's super basic. I'm down with that. But then, yeah, maybe if we get a second one, or if there's like expanded content to kind of go from here, I would like to see them branch out, like Bobby was saying.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. But you know, coming October 26th on Court's birthday, so we'll know more about it very, very soon.
No,
got a Resident Evil VR mode trailer for Resident Evil 4 and announcement of separate ways, separate paths, separate ways. There we go. Featuring Ada Wong. The VR2 thing for PSVR for Resident Evil 4 looks awesome. Surprisingly, one of my favorite games this year for a Sonic. I'm not huge on Resident Evil, but like Loved playing it on Steam Deck, and I'm very, very much going to be replaying it on PSVR 2. And the Ada expansion looks like fun. But where are we at, panel, with Resident Evil 4 Remake on VR?
Inject it into my veins. Inject it into my veins.
Yep.
It is the best game in the series, I think, right behind Village and 7. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Separate Ways. It's out in a couple days. Literally, a week from today. We're getting a new expansion, and then we're getting the VR mode in the winter and some new mercenary stuff next week. I don't really care for mercenary, but looking forward to it. Resident Evil is a solid franchise. It's built itself back up into a monumental IP for Capcom. It is definitely worth playing. Even if you don't have a VR headset, play the original Resident Evil 4, play the remake, just play it and enjoy it, because it is one of the best games they've ever made.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm not big on Resident Evil. Loved my time with 4 Remake. So I'm super stoked on this. Court, I know you're a big old pass on this, but Steve, are you gonna hop back in? Did you play this?
So I played the the console version, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I just wish this came out sooner, because I just don't know, given that the time frame is coming out, am I gonna want to put the headset back on at that time? I want to give it a solid go. I'm down for the DLC, like the console DLC and the Separate Ways and stuff like that. I just don't know if I have it in me to replay the game again in VR. It was the same thing with Resident Evil Village, where I got maybe 2 hours in. I was like, oh, it's awesome. It's innovative. I love the way that it adopts the VR language and stuff like that. But I just don't have it in me to play like a whole AAA game that I've already played again, but only in VR.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm curious to see if it'll grab me enough for a full playthrough, but I'm very excited to give it another look. We got a new trailer for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, a game I know Court is very excited about, and I'm actually very curious about too. So, Court, how do we feel about the new bit of Avatar we saw today?
Like I said before when we were watching it, I'm hoping, and this sounds terrible because it does look like Far Cry with Avatar. I'm hoping there are some underwater swimming, kind of ally what we see in Horizon. So like, because of how beautiful this world is in the movies, I'm hoping we get some of that graphical capability during gameplay. And then I'm also hoping for more interactivity. I hope technically, if it's a Far Cry-esque, see these animals we see on the screen, I hope I can just shoot them and kill them and just have fun with it. Like that's what I'm really hoping. I'm hoping I can just go around and just destroy everything in my path, but we'll see. This is definitely a game I'm going to jump into. I think it's coming out at the perfect time. It's coming out when there's not much else around. I know Dying Light kind of like set the tone years ago when they brought it out in January, and we're all just like, oh, we don't need a game in January. And we find out, yeah, we do. So this coming out in December, I think it's perfect. It's going to be that game I'll probably play over the Christmas holidays, and we'll see if I like it or not.
Bobby, Steve, any Avatar hype?
But I don't know. I really like it. It looks cool. No, I'll play. I'm definitely gonna review it. I'll do some previews and stuff. Like, I mean, it's Avatar. I respect the world. It's gorgeous. I mean, but really, it's just we've seen it. We've done it before. I mean, I don't know what it's separating itself from any other game that's like a third person shooter. Whatever it does, I feel like we've seen it in Far Cry or Division. It's another Ubisoft game. I kind of know what we're gonna get.
Steve, anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I personally think this is the best showing this game has had. I mean, the first couple trailers, maybe I don't even know how many they've had so far. Anyways, everything I've seen thus far was kind of like meandering, kind of like middling. I was like, yeah, I guess it's just blue Far Cry. I like Avatar, especially the second movie. I thought was pretty good. It kind of brought me into the franchise a little more. So when they announced this, I was like, I know exactly kind of what Bobby's saying about like knowing what you're gonna get from it. This trailer though kind of spun that on my head. I was like, oh, they're doing more than just reskin Far Cry, make it blue, and add more bows and stuff. Right. You have traversal elements there. You have access to not only like the Na'vi weaponry, but like human weaponry as well, like the guns, the helicopters, all that stuff. So I'm hopeful on it, and I'm right there with Core where this game's coming out in December, and if it can hold this December launch date, this is perfect for me to kind of coast through the holidays with, especially if it's as expansive as it looks.
Yeah, well said. I definitely agree. I think it's hitting at the right time, and we'll obviously see more as we get a little bit closer. We got a new trailer for Ghost Runner 2, which is just around the corner, coming from at the end of October. This personally, I tried to get into the first Ghost Runner, it didn't really click, so this is not something I'm really looking forward to. But does anybody on the panel have any strong Ghost Runner feelings?
It's incredible, the first one. I mean, if you like, just roguelites where you're just, doing the same thing over and over, trying to find like the critical path to the next, objective, it is a lot of fun. I mean, you can be really creative with your sword play and like finding the path to get to your, your next enemy or your next goal. The demo's out right now. I mean, if you feel mixed on it, check out the demo. I mean, I'm going to do that right after we get off the panel. I want to go see how they've improved on Ghost Runner 2, because I mean, the first one, for a first outing from like a new-ish studio, it was impressive.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the pieces. I think I played it right after Neon White, and I think I just preferred the way that Neon White handled compared to Ghost Runner.
That's a strong comparison. I mean, Neon White was almost perfect.
That's what I mean. So I think just the timing of it, I'm like, I need more of this kind of game. Let me try Ghost Runner. I never tried it, and it just didn't stick. But maybe I think I'll give the demo a whirl and see if anything sticks. But Steve, any Ghost Runner feelings?
No, I'm gonna echo exactly what you said. I played Neon White. I was like, that's my game, not this.
Yep.
And yeah, I just don't crave these kinds of games all that much. Neon White kind of set the bar, and that it's like, okay, maybe I'll wait for a sequel to that. I'm just not really interested in the sequel, to be honest.
Yeah, totally fair. The next thing we got was a announcement of some new DualShock, both DualSense colors and plates for the PS5. We're getting 3 different colors, like a silver, a blue, and a red, all very earthy, kind of metallic looking. I was a little bit whelmed by them at first, but the more I see of them, I do think these are pretty cool. I may grab the silver controller, but and possibly the blue one. And I mean, I might just grab the red one too. We'll see what happens. But Court, you had some thoughts and feelings on these.
Yeah, I really like the silver, the sterling silver, I think it was called. I thought it really looked really cool. I still am in the camp of, let me do some custom stuff, especially with, I know what the cost of these plates are probably running, and I know how the manufacturing works. Like, just figure out a way so we can have some more fun with this and we can do our own colors. But I appreciate that they're bringing these back. They're bringing these out. I'm just hoping that they're more readily available. I know with the last run they did, like I can only pretty much find baby blue and I think it's pink. My daughter really wants the purple and I can't find them anywhere. I know I talked to you about this before, Steve. I'm just hoping it's more readily available, but it's cool that they're doing this and they're doing more of this. So I can't complain.
Steve, Bobby, any thoughts on coloring of Deep Earth?
I'm a little angry at Jim Ryan. Does he not know I just bought the Spider-Man edition?
Right.
The DualSense and the console covers, and then he dropped silver on me. Like,
silver looks
my
good.
guy, give me at least a month. Like, I just I haven't even thrown the boxes away yet because I've been so busy, but like they're still in my apartment. Like, I want to enjoy the Spider-Man console, but then they dropped the silver one. I'm like, am I gonna have to swap them out already?
Silver looks so good.
Silver looks clean. Silver looks the best. I think the red and the blue look a little bit too similar to the existing red and purple. I think they're a little too similar. That silver is clean though. It gives me like PS1 vibes.
Yes.
Though at first I thought it was the like throwback. I thought they were giving us like the PlayStation gray,
like 8th anniversary ones.
Yeah, I thought we were getting that when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, they're doing it, and no, they didn't.
One day, I guarantee you, one day they'll do it.
Well, they better, because like that's the only way I would pull the trigger on anything else right now that like a cover. I mean, I like the purple. I have the purple. I have the black. I have the white ones, but these 3 colors aren't blowing me away. Like, I like the silver, but it's too metallic. I want the specific gray color they have on the PlayStation 1, and I want to be able to have the PlayStation logo with the original colors. Like, I don't like this lack of color on the PlayStation logo. It's just it doesn't feel like a PlayStation anymore to me. It just feels like a console. I want the green, the red, the yellow, and the
rainbow.
Yeah,
I know you can get those stickers. Like, I keep looking at them to like put inside that makes it look awesome. But I'm with you, dude. I miss the bright, colorful PlayStation logo.
Yeah, it really feels like a bygone era for PlayStation, because I mean that was when they're at their most creative, and like
you can buy stickers on Amazon for like $1.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that they took it away from their identity. It's like everything's flat and like mono these days, and like that just doesn't sit right with me. Like I want them to stick with what they were known for, right? Even on the I think the DualSense Edge, I think the logos are on there, right? I believe the logo's on the PlayStation button. Why would you add it to that and then not add it to the console?
Yep, I'm with you. I miss the good old colorful PlayStation logo days.
Yeah, the original PlayStation is still one of my favorite designs of any console. I think even the PlayStation 1, those are two of the best looking consoles they've ever released.
100%. Helldivers 2 got a big old spotlight. Showed off a bunch of gameplay with a date announcement. February 8th, coming to PlayStation 5 and PC. I loved the first one. Very, very much enjoyed what I saw of the second one. Very curious on how it's going to feel, because obviously it's a big shift in terms of perspective and everything else. But I'm in on this. I think it looked awesome. Steve, is Helldivers 2 a day one for you?
Absolutely. I wasn't huge into the original, but it's the adoption of this new perspective, this new scale, and everything that's got me in. I'm a little disappointed, obviously, that it's now fallen into 2024. I thought this would have been like a perfect kind of, again, like with Avatar, like a holiday kind of game. That would have been awesome to,
especially with everybody home, right?
Exactly.
Online play.
Because it's hard to like wrangle friends in and kind of do like this.
Yeah, we don't have any. It's awkward.
No, we're gamers, so we don't have any friends. But no, everything I saw from this trailer was awesome. The TeamSpeak trailers are always cringe, so can we just like drop that, or at least like get people who can like actually
just play the game and just if someone swears, just beep it out.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be us like yelling. Court and I are yelling and screaming at each other and swearing at each other playing mini golf. I can only imagine what would happen playing this.
Well, that's another win for Super. Like,
go around the corner, get around, flank them, flank. Okay. No one says that.
Oh no, you killed me.
And I'm not saying it has to be like super realistic where someone's saying slurs at me, but I'm just saying like, can we just like just drop the entire bit, or can we just like make it a little more fun? I don't know.
Bobby, are you amped on Helldivers?
Yeah, it reminds me of Returnal, so like I'm all in. Just give it to me already. Like I like we said, it would have been a perfect December-ish, January game, but February, I mean, you're getting Persona and Final Fantasy VII that month, so it's already starting to feel packed already. So I mean, I don't know, decision whether it's good or not. I mean, that's up to the developers and the publishers, but I'm all in. Either way, I'll try and play it. I hope I can finish it in time for Rebirth, because like that game's going to consume my life for over 100 hours.
If they can 100%. Capture some of like the co-op element, like at least the feel of the game to Outriders, I think this is perfect.
Yeah, it looks like a cross between like Outriders and The Division.
A little bit,
I'm all over this. Like,
exactly.
I like those games. I've been reading up on it, and this is one of the games. Was like, this is also one of those games that I'm hoping is a PlayStation Plus. I think it's almost like perfect, because I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not something they do, but it would be one of those perfect games, especially because it's multiplayer. To be like, hey, this is a new strategy that Sony's going to be doing. How about you hop into this one? Everybody gets to have it if you have PlayStation Plus Extra. Everybody can play with each other. It's like when a game comes to Game Pass that everybody can play at the same time, because this is a co-op shooter. I really hope it does, but I am also in day one. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like right up my alley.
Yeah, 100%. I think this showed like super, super well. I think it's been showing really well, and I just hope that it's going to be fun, which I don't doubt it will be, because it looks great. We're gonna skip past Spider-Man 2 here for a sec. Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn was announced. I am very, very excited this. A new expansion coming to Tales of Arise, coming on November 9th. I loved the first one. This is the game that finally made Sean start playing RPGs. Cannot wait for this. I'm entirely in. Rest of the panel, was anybody else big on Tales of Arise?
I liked it, but like I was telling you off the show, like it wasn't a proper Tales game to me. Like it had elements, but it lost a lot of the personality of a Tales game. So I mean, I'm hoping it turns out well, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of want more of the traditional Tales games more than what this was.
I think that's fair. I think this really did capture a lot of new people, but yeah, I do think it wasn't exactly what Tales is known for. But I'm amped for this. I can't wait. I'll definitely be playing it on launch. We're gonna breeze past a couple of these.
You didn't ask Court what he thought of Tales of Arise, because I'm curious to hear what he says.
We don't have to. I put myself on mute. Like we're gonna have this and like the next Let's
Court
speed
literally
this thing up
walked
and get
away.
to the thing that Court's waiting for to talk about.
You don't want to play Honkai Star Rail because it's a
No, I
really
don't care about any of it.
fun mobile game. I've
Foam
been playing
Stars,
it.
don't care.
It is
Foam
fun.
Stars looks
Coming
awesome.
No.
Yep.
Oh, there's an
Honkai
open
coming to
beta.
PS5. Right. I like both of these games. I'm legit curious about. I liked Honkai. I played it on mobile October 11th. Foam Stars coming. There's an open beta coming at the end of the month. And then of course we need to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because Bobby and I were obviously freaking out. We got a launch date of February 29th. This is easily one of my most anticipated this year. With Persona 3 Reload coming out at the beginning of February and Final Fantasy coming out at the end. Final Fantasy, like, February is stacked. It is the month. It is my birthday month. It is the month of two incredible and two of my favorite series. Bobby, this just looks so good.
It is probably the most exciting trailer I've seen in like 5 years, more so than God of War Ragnarok's trailer.
Agreed.
Which I'm not saying is bad, but like the opening shot of Cloud and Zack looking up at Midgard, and it's like, holy crap, that's amazing. And then you see Junon, and then you see Rufus, and then you start seeing like everything that you remember as a kid, where you see the Emerald weapon, and then you see Cloud in his undercover uniform where he's trying to infiltrate Shinra at Junon. So it's incredible. And then they start adding more and more, and they're starting adding Kate Sith, which is very, very, very important character to the story. And then you start seeing I don't want to say Vincent because he was teased, but like when you start seeing all these things, like you start seeing Odin, you start seeing Alexander, the summons, it all starts coming together. It's like the first game was a nice little introduction to what Final Fantasy VII is, but Final Fantasy Rebirth is basically what the game truly is. It's the chocobo breeding, it's the chocobo racing, it's the mini games, it's the revelations you start unpacking, because everything you thought you knew about Cloud and all his companions is not true.
Yep. I just cannot wait for this. Maximilian, dude, I'm already waiting for his like theory crafting. He has some really, really cool, interesting stuff talking about what's actually going to be going on in this game. And with, like, we said, the cover art with Zack on it and everything, there's some really, really wild stuff that this game can start doing to differentiate it from what came before. And I can't wait. I can't easily one of my most anticipated games. February. So it's coming very, very soon. I have full faith that they're going to stick to that. And as Steve alluded to earlier, 2 discs, baby. Bringing it back, 2-disc Blu-ray Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
It's unbelievable that we're getting 2 discs in 2024. We're not even, what is it? I think a Blu-ray disc holds 100 gigs per disc.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I really like the trailer. I mean, Bobby's listing off characters and things that I go over my head. I have no idea, but I love the first game. I was enamored by, like, I was gonna say that kitty cat looks awesome. I love weird characters like that. Yeah, just the epic scale of this. I'm in, but I'm going in completely dark. I have no idea what I'm in store for because I gave up on the original Final Fantasy VII. So I'm along for the ride, but I have no expectations other than I'm sure it will be good to great.
Oh, it will be. It very much will be.
Seriously, everything looks incredible. Like, they're putting everything into this game. Like, you can tell, like, this is really where they're gonna make or break the next like 5 years of their company, because like as you know, whatever happened in the past couple of days, Square Enix was devalued by $2 billion because of Forspoken and games like Marvel's Avengers underperforming. So they really need to make this game, sing when it launches, because one, it's a PlayStation exclusive for at least the first 6 months, which I'm starting to think is going to hurt them in the long run. It has been hurting them in the long run. So I think it's finally time to get this game on Xbox and PC day and date, because like really that's the only way they're going to hit the sales targets that Square has, because they're known for having unrealistic sales targets, and that's always been why they've shot themselves in the foot when they release their sales reports and all that.
Yeah, they have ridiculous expectations, and I think, like you mentioned, I think this game, I mean, even Final Fantasy 16 by their metrics underperformed for whatever reason, but this one is going to be the big one. This is going to be the huge next year. Next year is already shaping up to be an incredible year for Matt, between Persona, Final Fantasy, and Like a Dragon all hitting with new entries. Let's go, baby. But of course, we need to talk about Marvel's Spider-Man 2. We got a new trailer for it. We got a whole bunch of stuff here. We saw the quick swap between the characters. We saw what we think is Mysterio. We saw new abilities. We saw a whole lot more. But of course, the homie, Steve Monday, Steve Vigvari, took a little trip to LA recently. Steve, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks to PlayStation Canada and Insomniac Games, I flew out to LA to play 90 minutes of the game, and then also speak to Insomniac to kind of get some more context to like what we're seeing here in the this state of play. And essentially what we were given was like this video for narrated by Brian Intihar, and then it just kind of dropped into the middle of the game. I got to play as both Spider-Man in the black suit, play as Miles, kind of see what they're both doing in terms of the story, in terms of where they are. It's 9 months after the events of Miles Morales. They're both kind of living as, Spider-Men and dealing with everyday life in their own regard, but also, dealing with Kraven, dealing with Lizard, dealing with all this stuff. So yeah, I just figured, I'd come on the show and kind of contextualize a lot of what we're seeing right now in this video, because Brian went over a lot of stuff just to get people jazzed for this game. And I'm sure people have questions about it. I'm sure you guys have questions. So I'm happy to answer anything or just gas this game up even more.
So did you get to use the wingsuit?
Yeah.
So how does the flight feel compared to say, any other game that we've been able to fly, like an Anthem and all that kind of stuff?
It's beautiful.
First class, baby.
Yeah, this is, I'm impressed. Like, I love the swinging, and I was like, well, why are you guys improving the swinging? The swinging is perfect. That's what I want to do as Spider-Man. And within maybe, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of flying around with the wingsuit, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, this is it. Like they perfectly integrated both to complement each other and not take away from the swinging, because you can still swing, you can still gain momentum. It's a lot cleaner, it's a lot more fresh when you're swinging through the city. But then integrating the wingsuit, it just feels so nice when you pop those open. You can go all the way down to like street level, just like skimming like the sidewalk almost, and then come back all the way up. There are like air drafts coming in between buildings that you can kind of like follow and use that to gain momentum. You're seeing that on the screen right now. And you can just like kind of like flip between the two however you want. You're not beholden to just use the suit, the wings, or just use swinging. Like you can do both, and I think it really goes a long way to kind of speed things up, especially because they're doubling the size of the map. You have to freshen things up a little bit when they're adding Queens and Brooklyn. It's a lot to go and traverse through, especially because you're crossing over the water as well. So having the websuit there to kind of get you from point A to point B, it feels so good. I'm a true believer in it.
Are you, when you switch between the two characters, is it a lot like Grand Theft Auto?
You nailed it.
All right.
Nailed it. Yeah. Yeah, so, you absolutely nailed it. And you actually see like something really cool in the state of play trailer here, is that when you switch, both characters are kind of persistently existing in this world. So for instance, if you're playing as Miles and you switch to Peter's just doing stuff, like he's swinging around New York, or he's like fighting crime or stuff like that. In the trailer, you see like he's just doing crunches on the side of the building. It is very much like Grand Theft Auto, where it's like if you go and transition over to Trevor, it goes like all the way over to his trailer in the middle of nowhere, and he's just making meth or whatever he was doing, beating up a dude. And it makes it so much more immersive in that these characters are just existing. They're living their lives. They're not like waiting for the player to be like, all right, Peter's up next, time to leave my house, so it's a very cool thing.
So I have to ask then, because like you mentioned, we have large amounts of water. And traditionally when you get into Spider-Man games, Spider-Man does not get along with water. So did you try diving in? What happens? Are you tossed out? Can you swim? What can you talk about the water, Steve?
I can talk about the water, and all these little nerds out there, the Puddlegate. Guys, they address the water tenfold. If you're flying or swinging and you hit the water, you just skim across it. It's so stylized. Like, you're just like, yeah, you're just like, pew, 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 like you're just like sliding across it. It's beautiful. Like, yeah, because when you think about it, it's not fun if you have to like land in the water and then you have to like, grapple to something, pull yourself out, and then start gaining momentum over again. So yeah, if you're crossing from Queens into proper New York and you hit the water, you just keep going. Like, you're just like holding onto your web and you're just skimming the water, and then you just pull yourself up.
How's the draw distance?
Beautiful. Yeah, this game is built for the PS5 from the ground up. It uses the SSD extensively. Not that I got to try this, but they were talking about the fact that if you see an icon on your map, you can just transport yourself there instantaneously. It's not like the subway stuff that you had to do back in the day. Like, fast travel is just instant. They really want you to get from point A to point B however you want and as fast as you want. Which again, the draw distance, if you're standing on a skyscraper, you can see as far as like the eye can see. Like, this, it's way more improved than the standard, like the original Spider-Man.
Did you walk up and down the city streets to see the interactions with the NPCs, how they would differ compared? Because there was a lot of interaction in the first two games, and I'm wondering how if it looked busier, if there's more NPCs, if they've like, made the city feel more alive.
It feels about the same. I'm not gonna lie. Not that I'm disappointed in that, because I mean, a lot of the fun in Spider-Man interactions is with you in the buildings, to be honest. So yeah, I'm sure that there are nice little Easter eggs and moments, but especially when I only had 90 minutes of it, I didn't really spend too much time just kind of meandering the streets, to be honest. I was doing more like the content side of it.
Now, does the combat feel any different on, say, DualSense functionality? I would think they might have added more immersion with regards to the DualSense with the combat.
Not really. There's the haptics definitely feel great when you're fighting and stuff like that. The triggers, it's adaptive trigger stuff. One of the things is that there's a moment in the story mission where you and Harry are repairing a particle accelerator, and basically it's kind of like an Arkham game, or something akin to that. So you're almost using like the haptic triggers to hold a position like on a scale.
Okay.
And it's cool. It's just a little fun little thing that they chose to do to kind of incorporate the adaptive triggers a little more than most studios nowadays do. It was kind of fun that it's like at one point you're supposed to like hold them evenly, so it's like both amount of pressure on both triggers, but then then like the second round of it is like, okay, one has to be held a little deeper than the other one, so you kind of have to coordinate. I wasn't blown away by the DualSense functionality, but
what about the symbiote suit? How did it feel, especially in combat?
Oh, it's nice. So it has its own skill tree. It has its own unique abilities. Obviously, we see in the trailer there's moments where Peter will like shoot out these large tendrils out of his hands, pick enemies up, slam them into the ground. He's also shooting like tendrils out of his body, knocking enemies over and stuff like that. I think more or less like a lot of the combat that Peter has when fighting in the black suit feels visceral. It feels way more brutal. Like he's messing enemies up, like to the point where like you don't really see that come out of Spider-Man or Peter ever. So it's kind of off-putting. You're like, oof, like this is a brand new Peter, and Yuri's doing a hell of a job, like with the voice acting kind of going, like you can tell when he's making the cracks between like Peter and then like Darkseid Peter, like the symbiote Peter. Yeah, all in all, like I'm really impressed with what they're doing with the black suit, with the symbiote suit. I think players are going to be really they're going to enjoy it for sure.
Oh, I can't wait. Steve, I gotta ask, just to kind of round out the conversation here.
Absolutely.
Was there anything that surprised you? Anything that you like really want people to take away into the hype that is the next month leading up to this game? Anything from your time with the game that you were like, this was awesome, this was so cool, or this is something that people need to know about?
I think it's the story, to be honest. I think interweaving such unique characters that you never really see interact with one another. So you have Kraven, you have Venom there, you have Lizard. It's not the standard rogues gallery that you're kind of used to seeing all together in one story. Even in the lead up to Spider-Man 2, I was like, oh, this is an interesting kind of combination of characters that we're seeing here. I don't know what to really take away from it, but the way that they frame the reasoning of each character's kind of existence in the story. Albeit Venom, I still don't have a lick of clue about Venom or anything, but the reason Lizard is there versus Kraven, I love what they're doing with this. I think fans are going to really enjoy all the stuff that they're doing with these characters. I'm not the biggest Kraven fan to begin with, but in the very first scene that kind of opened up my demo with the interaction between Peter and Kraven, I was like, oh, this guy rocks. I can't wait to see what they do with this character. I love the voice acting. I love the brutality that he's bringing to it. I'm in for this.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm so stoked. Congrats again for getting out there. That's such a cool experience. Kudos to you and all the hard work that you've been doing. So I had to give you your flowers for that, man, because that's such a unique and amazing opportunity. And Court and I are not at all jealous. Not even a little bit. Not even 1%.
No. We'll all go on our press trip soon. Don't worry. We'll all be out there at one of them.
Yes, we will be all hugging and just busting all over the place in person.
Man. Just busting. Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Just a bunch of bros busting all over the place. But that brings us to the finale of this wonderful crossover episode. Folks, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, you can find us all at Console Creatures. And of course, Court is driving his big old bus. You can find me on X at Matt_SilverSoul and on the PlayStation Drive each and every week. And now also on Console Creatures, you'll see my name on the site as I'm helping write, and I've joined the team officially. Court, what about yourself? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Court Lalonde on Twitter, because I am never changing the name. You can also find me at Carpool Gaming as I do the socials. You can also find me every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern at 3 Dads and a Console. And you can find my writing at Console Creatures. I think that's my resume now. It's a pretty long one, but it's there.
It's there. Just a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm proud of you for all of it. Look at you. Steve Parker, what about you, my dude? Where can people find you?
The last names are just adding up. They're just, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you can find me all across the internet on every social media platform at SVicVari. You can also find me every week on the Creature Cast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that fun stuff, where we have, an in-depth Spider-Man preview for you, including an audio interview. And then, it's more stuff over at Console Creatures. I'm so happy that you two are now, writing content over there. That's very cool, and I hope we do more of these crossover episodes, because I love these are a lot of fun.
You like busting on us, eh?
Oh, just a whole bunch of communal busting. Bobby, my dude, what about you, my friend? Where can people find you?
In the bath, because I feel so gross right now. Just
all those spider webs, eh?
All this ectoplasm everywhere.
I think that makes it worse.
Man, you guys are ridiculous.
Hey, busting makes me feel good,
Oh god. Just go to bed. You gotta go to bed soon. You're it's beyond your bedtime right now.
It is.
It's not a lie. It's not a lie.
Bobby's busting into the mic.
False. False. You can find me on Twitter, because it's not X, it's Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Console Creatures. You can find me on every social platform. And you can find me rizzing on Court.
Rizzing on Court. Get your rizz on, my friends. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you all very, very much. And one of these crossovers will happen again soon. Follow Console Creatures. Follow the Creature Cast. Follow PlayStation Drive. Find us in all the places. We appreciate you all. And we'll see you next time. Peace. And of course, before we go, we have to thank our incredible patrons. We love and appreciate you all very, very much. But of course, we need to shout out our ultimate producers, Bobby Miller, who's at the List Podcast. It's in the description below. Sean was just a guest on there, so go check that out. Tony Baker, who you can find at youtube.com/quest4pixels. Jonathan Brown, whose link tree is pme.jib. Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, who you can find over at phoenixoverdrive.com. And of course, Trucker Sloth. Our platinum producer, RJ Kern. And our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Bowsah, Cecily Carrozza, Dannohh, Drellesh, Emily O'Kelly, Hoppel, John 32, Marcus O'Neill, Markus McCracken, MoSpankins, Peje EP, ScheiGuy, and Tim Aulph. Thank you all very, very much. We appreciate you all incredibly.